Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing some plant chores, and the first thing I want to do is check if this little guy needs repotting. And if he doesn't need repotting, then I'm going to at least refresh that soil. But he's in quite a small pot at the moment, so I just want to check and make sure he's got room to grow this spring summer. I'm trying to prepare my plants at the moment for spring and summer so that they can make the most of the growing season. So I want all my plants that need repotting to be in their new pots ready to go so they can make the most of the season. Okay, so first let's take him out of his pot. See what's going on in there. Actually, the soil that this one's in is not too bad. Just have some perlite in there. The roots are quite small, but they are filling the pot, so I think I am going to repot this little guy. We won't be going very big with the pot, just this little pot here. It's just a bit bigger than this one. And that should give him enough room to grow this spring. So I'm just going to start by putting a little bit in the bottom of the pot there. And this is a really well draining soil. It's a mixture of cocoa coir, bark and perlite. So really well draining. So let's just pop this little guy in there. See how he fits. Yeah, just a little bit more on the bottom. Okay, so he fits pretty well in there. So I'm just going to fill in the soil around the edges. So the pot's not too big, so it shouldn't hold too much water, but it's just giving him a little bit more room to grow this year. But I don't want to overwhelm him with too much soil that might hold too much water, because we don't want his roots to rot. I think that's the perfect pot for him at the moment, and hopefully he will outgrow this pretty quickly. He's got some nice new soil, because you never know how long the soil has been in the pot, do you, from the nursery, straight from the nursery. So it could be devoid of all nutrients by now, so it's nice to put him in some new soil. I'm not sure if I'm going to water him yet. I don't think he's ready for a watering. If they're not ready for a watering before I repot them, then I generally don't water them straight after repotting. If they needed a water anyway, just before I repotted them, then I will give them a water afterwards. But I will be checking with my water meter before I do it. Okay, perfect. And there we go. This little guy has got his new pot. And I'll find him a nice little cover pot in a bit. Looking good in there. Okay, first plant done. Next up, I'm going to be checking this Philodendron Prince of Orange to see if this one needs repotting. Again, I'd just like it to have the best start this spring. So we'll see how it's looking in there. I'm always a little bit nervous when I take a plant out of the pot for the first time, because once I found centipedes in a plant and it really freaked me out. And I know some of you are going to say, well, centipedes are good natural predators, but I do not care. I don't want centipedes in my house. Thank you very much. See if we can get this out. It's a little bit of a squeeze. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's a little bit root burn there. Just let some of that soil fall off. Again, the soil's not too bad on this one. Oh my god. It's got some kind of... what is that? It's got something wrapped around it here. What the hell is this? There's like some kind of thing wrapped around the plant. I don't know if that's something that's detrimental to the plant, but I'm gonna have to see if I can get it off. I think it's just like paper. Maybe it's supposed to degrade in the soil, but it's, I guess it's from when it was a plug or something, and it's, but I'm going to take it off because it's wrapped all around there and I do not like that. Just try not to damage the roots as well. Let's see. Okay. That's weird. I've never seen that before in a plant when I've repotted it. It's got kind of this, see that? It's sort of like a paper wrapping that was on it around the plant. I guess it's not as bad as it would be if it was plastic. Maybe it's supposed to degrade, but it's, I mean, I had to pull it to get it off, so you can see they have started to kind of mould to the shape of the pot. So I think it was coming to the end of that pot, but I don't want to put it in too big a pot. So I think this will be perfect. So let's pop some soil in there. I'm just putting like about an inch or so of soil in there. Oh, that's about right. It's got a bit of room to grow. And I'm just going to fill it in around the sides there. And I told myself I would not get soil on the floor, but I have got soil on the floor. And this is a nice chunky mix. I make this myself, as I said before. It's just cocoa coir peat, or whatever they call it, peat free. Yeah, I don't use peat because it's not sustainable. I think we have to start going in the direction of more sustainable, don't we? But my plants seem to do fine in that mixture. I always have plenty of bark and plenty of perlite. Pumice is another good one, but I don't actually have that at the moment. Yeah, so he's got a little bit more room to grow now. I don't know how fast grower this one is. How fast a grower this one is. But I shall find out. But at least he's got a little bit more room to grow now. But again, I don't want to overdo the size of the pot because then I risk him getting root rot, which we do not want. Okay, I think that's all good there. Trying to get him right in the centre there, just so that his weight is evenly distributed in the pot. I know from my Imperial Green that these upright philodendrons, they do get quite heavy once they get bigger. I don't think you're supposed to stake them, but I feel they may need a little bit of help just to help hold them up a bit. But yeah, for now this one's quite small, so we're all good. There we go. So again, I should check him for watering before I water. Let's just take out some of these dead bits as well. Make sure he's all healthy there. Lovely. Okay, we have a happy Philodendron Prince of Orange. That's another job done. Now, what do I need to do next? The next job I want to do is set up my new prop box, and I found this box that I thought was perfect for propagating. And I've not used a prop box before, so this will be my first one, so I'm quite excited. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill some pots with soil ready to put in here, and then I'm going to do some soil propagation. So let's get some pots and fill them with soil first. So I'm going to be filling a selection of different sizes, and this is going to be for different propagations that I have. And this is just a personal preference, but I like to do some soil propagations and some water propagations. I find soil really easy for certain plants, and so I'm going to fill these pots up and then pop them in my prop box. My usual mix, and then I'm just going to fill the pots. And it's easier to just do this before I take my cuttings, because then I can just pop them in there. And it's really exciting to be doing propagations again, because I haven't done any over the winter. I know some people do continue to do propagating over the winter if they can keep the light and temperature conditions right, but I was looking to save on my electricity bills this year, so I didn't do any. So this year I'm going to start right at the beginning of spring, so I've got the whole of spring and summer to do my propagations. So I'm really excited, and I know that you can't actually see the roots as they go with this method, but the way you can tell if the plant has started rooting is you'll start to see new growth in the plant. And so there's certain plants that I have picked for this type of propagation, such as the Tradescantia Nanook and also the rubber plant. They tend to root quicker in soil, in my experience. So that's why I'm using soil for those. I may also do one or two in the water just to see, as a sort of experiment as well, because it is kind of nice to experiment too, isn't it? But yeah, I thought I'd do a little bit of each this year and then just see how they go, and maybe do a check-in later in the year after summer has been and gone, and we can see how they're all doing and which ones are doing better. Okay, so let's put these into my prop box. Exciting. Right, so I'm just going to pop these in here. There is still a little space for some more as well. There we go. So now I just need to take some cuttings to put in here. So I'm going to have a look around my plants. I'm going to take some cuttings and yeah, get some propagations going. The first plant I'm going to be taking cuttings from is this Syngonium. And you're probably not going to be able to see me because this plant's quite big, but let's see if we can find some good cuttings. So with this one I'm looking for cuttings that have an aerial root and a node, so let's see what I can find. Okay, let me show you the cuttings that I got. I have one. This one actually has two nodes. You can see there the aerial roots. And I've tried to take my cuttings. I've got 1, 2, 3. This one has 3 leaves, and again 2 nodes on that one. 4. And actually looking at these cuttings, they're probably going to be too big for my prop box, so instead of propagating them in soil, I've decided to propagate them in these jars instead with water. So we're going to do that, and I am going to dip these in rooting powder first. This is the one that I use. This is a natural rooting powder. And you don't have to use this, you will be able to propagate without this, but I just use it because it's easily available, and if it helps then I'm going to use it. So all I do with these cuttings is I just dip the cut end into the rooting hormone, and then so it's just the bit that I cut that has it on. Will my camera focus? Yeah, it's just on the end there. And then all I'm going to do is pop that into my jar. And repeat with the other cuttings. And I've actually never propagated syngoniums in water before. I've always used soil, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Let's pop that one in there. Just tap off any excess. Pop it in the jar. I think I'm going to put 2 in each jar. I'm just thinking, will I be able to get them out? Yes, that's fine. And then I shall fill them with water in a moment. Let's see if I can fit another one in there. Bit of a squeeze. Oh. Okay, that's a bit of a squeeze, so I don't want to risk damaging it, so I'm going to put it into a jar of its own. And there we have 1, 2, 4 cuttings. And these look quite nice just as they are as well. Quite nice and decorative. Next we're going to be taking some cuttings from this Tradescantia, and what tends to happen with the Tradescantia is they tend to get quite bald on top and then they sort of get quite leggy and you end up with these long stems. Sometimes they tend to lose their leaves further up and you get sort of a long stem with just a few leaves on the end. So with Tradescantia, the way to fix this is you can take cuttings and reset the plant, and because it roots so easily, you can just keep doing this. Some people don't like this plant because you have to keep doing this in order to reset the plant and get it back to looking bushy, but I don't really mind, I quite enjoy it. It's got a few crispy bits. Again, they just tend to get those. Part of the plant. So I've cleaned my scissors and now I'm going to take some cuttings from this one. So I'm just going to take cuttings wherever I think it's appropriate. And then I shall cut these ones up again afterwards too. And this might look quite extreme, but as I say, this plant really does root quickly. So I'm happy to do it. And this original plant will also come back thriving too, so it will give this part of the plant a new lease of life too. Now whilst I'm here, I'm just going to prune off some of these dead leaves as well. Okay, so I'm just going to set the mother plant aside, and that will, like I say, it will grow back and it will look even better than it does now. It also needs a water, I think, so I'm going to put that to one side for watering in a moment. Yeah, this plant does not like to dry out, but equally you don't want it to be soaking wet, so you kind of have to try and guess what is the best thing. Okay, how am I going to do this? So I'm going to take that. I'm just going to take off some of the lower leaves as well. You can see where you can see there's a sort of ring around the stem. That's the node, so that's where the roots are going to grow from. So you can take off lower leaves in order to make sure that one of the nodes is in contact with the soil. And I'll do this with this one. And even the ones that don't really have much on them, just one leaf like that, you can still propagate that. And certainly this one is probably going to have no leaves, but again, it should still grow. So I'm still going to use this. Cut it there. And then that will be another cutting. So I am going to have quite a lot of cuttings. I'm just going to cut off brown bits as well, because we don't need those. There's no coming back once they're brown. Let's see, I think I'm just going to keep that one as it is. Yeah, so I'm just removing those lower leaves so that, like I say, I have at least one node that will go into the soil, and that's where your roots will grow from. Okay. So now I'm just going to, as I did with the other ones, I'm going to dip them in rooting hormone. I'm going to actually do these in soil. I'm going to put several cuttings in each pot, so because you want to have more than one, and the reason for that is that you will have a fuller plant if you do it that way. So all I'm going to do is dip it in there, tap off the excess, and then just push it down into the soil, making sure that the node is below the soil. And then I'm just going to repeat that with my other cuttings. Just firm them down a little bit. And as I say, I'm going to put quite a few into each pot because I want the plant to be nice and full. I've got 4 stems in that one. I might put one more in the middle as well. Let's see, what do we have? I think that one will look good in the middle, yeah. little bit more actually. And just put that one in the middle there. Firm them down. And there you go, you have a new pot of Tradescantia, and they will be a bit loose at first, but a good way to know if they are rooted is that you can just do a little tug test, and if it feels like if you feel some resistance, you'll know that the roots have formed. So that's a good way of checking with soil propagations. So I'm just going to do another pot here. Pop that into the soil. You may need to add a bit more soil once you've patted them down. I think these will fit into my prop box. I'm going to have a look in a minute. If not, then what I usually do is I cover them with plastic bags if I can't get them in the prop box, just to create more of a humid environment for them. They will root quicker that way. And yeah, I think this is going to be just enough cuttings for 2 pots. So I shall have 2 new pots of Tradescantia once these root. And yeah, I do need to add a little more soil in, so I'll do that in a second. I'm going to put another one in here just to balance them out a little bit. Have roughly the same in each. And this little one here, I shall also put that one in because, as I say, it's just a wet stick, but it will root. So we'll put that in. Put that into the soil. Okay, and so yeah, I just need to add a little bit more soil to these and pat them down, but other than that, we will have 2 new pots of Tradescantia, plus also the one that I already have from before, the mother plant, so that'll be 3 pots of Tradescantia. And as I say, this is a great way of resetting your Tradescantia because they do tend to go a bit bald on top, and this just starts them off again, and yeah, they should get lovely and luscious again. Okay, I have watered those through and put some new soil in the top there just to pat them down, and these are the first 2 plants going into my new prop box, so that's exciting. And yes, they do fit. Wonderful. In they go. So I'm excited to see how those get on, and I will need to find some other cuttings to fill up this box, but for now that's a good start, so I'm really excited about that. I shall now pop on the lid and let those do their thing. So I'm going to leave it there today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already for more planty content, and I'll see you in the next one.